We've been working with the Telecho community for about 10 months now. Over the last 10 months, we had 3 workshops. The first was familiarization workshop for the community to make a decision whether they would like to get involved in this piloting exercise, where to use the Rapta approach for designing a community project. And because of the trust that had been built through Malka with the community, and also the exposures that they have, what Rapta might be able to do, the community accepted that they would want to work with us in trying to develop a Rapta-based community project. And thus, the next project workshop was in September. Last September, we had a discussion around different steps of 7 steps of Rapta. We were able to manage to scoping, stakeholder engagement, and a little bit of governance, and the systems description, systems assessment, and theory of change. This time, we came to finalize the rest of the steps, which is options and pathways, and a learning framework which allows us to monitor, reflect, and learn as we go along when the project is implemented, so that we could be flexible enough to change course if that is required. So that's exactly what we are currently doing. Currently, we're working with about 10 people to work on the remaining learning framework and project governance. Currently, the community members are working on some of the ways to how to monitor governance of the project as we implement, if we have an opportunity to implement this project. The examples that we gave them was from other parts of the country where there is scarcity of food security, and there is significant food insecurities in some parts of Ethiopia. That was the example that we gave them for 2 reasons. One is not to bias their understanding about their situation, but give them good examples to relate to. And they clearly identified that immediately food security issues are not their issue, but they could become because of the climate change impacts and population pressure, and some of the loss of deforestation, other soil erosion. So they said, if we don't plan from now and have a project that addresses some of the issues that we have, we could be exposed to drought and famine that happens in some other parts of the country. So they clearly identified that they would want to work on the resilience and productivity of soils, their livestock, crops, and also try to identify alternative livelihood opportunities. So there were 3 pathways that have been identified. One of the pathways is to maintain the current food production system that they have, which is a mainstay or a livelihood of many members of the community. And so the idea is to strengthen and enhance the resilience of the current soil, crop, livestock system, where there are examples of areas that they have identified that they will work on. So, for instance, the seed bank that they have, they want to expand and strengthen that as part of the resilience system, and also work on some of the issues that they have on soils, like acidity problems, like soil erosion, and also leaching of the minerals that they have through different means. For example, there is significant use of manure that could have returned some of the nutrients, but because of shortage of fuel wood, manure dung is used as a fuel, and therefore there is quite leaching of the nutrients from the soil. So there are aspects that I've identified how to close the loop. Livestock-wise, there are some diseases that they are suffering from, and same with crops. Some pests, some disease, and also weeds that they are struggling with. So they want to address those things to enhance the productivity and production of the land, but also maintaining the resilience of the systems, not just only increasing productivity. The last and a transformative pathway is that because of increasing population pressure, the young are increasingly just taking part of the parcels that they have from their parents, and there would be a shortage of land because it gets distributed to many, and that creates significant pressure on the land because it has to be tilled year after year. There's no resting of the fallowing of the land. There has to be a way for young people and people who don't have land, which currently are renting from others, to have an opportunity, livelihood opportunity that takes them from this. The community had enormous, we had enormous open canvas in terms of the community express what they want in their community, and also decide where they would be able to work on, and also articulate their demands from other supporters. And that's a very important thing. Because oftentimes we wouldn't have any, communities could be exposed to programs and agendas that come from different agencies. And the second one is that this process, which is a bottom-up, could help some of the government processes that go every 5 years, I think. There is a growth and transformation plan that the Ethiopian government implements, and communities contribute to that process. And processes like this that try to understand the dynamics that are happening, the social and ecological dynamics that are happening at ground level, could help inform what is required in terms of those planning processes that go at a national scale.